I just wanted to clarify a few things. I said we were bodhisattvas. That just means we're spiritually awakened and we're helping others spiritually awaken themselves so we can all be liberated. We're delaying our departure to paradise, but we can't go there. We got to do the whole course of these lower worlds. I've also stated that we were the true Christians. We're hiding in plain sight in Buddhist temples, monasteries, and on the side of mountains. That's why I got a traveler's heart. Like, I've always wanted to travel this life. It's been like that all my lives, past lives. Anybody that knows me knows that I've traveled all over this country my whole life, basically. The reason why we're Buddhist monks turning masters life after life for the last 1700 years. Well, let's start with the first Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama. When he was born, he had signs. The seers, his father brought in seers. His father was a king, and he wanted to know what his future held for him. They said, well, either he's going to be a king of kings or he's going to be an ascetic monk, a spiritually awakened one. He was born in Hinduism with the caste system, but he ended up rejecting it. But anyways, his father tried to keep the worldly life, sickness and all that. You guys can go look at YouTube videos. I'm not here to teach about that right now. And when he was in his 20s, 27 or so, 28, he left the kingdom, cut off his hair, and became an ascetic monk looking for the truth, came close to death, wasn't eating or nothing, denying the material world. And something told him, like, he was thinking, like, I'm just going to die and I still haven't seen the truth. So he started eating a little bit. He had 5 people that were with him. They left him. Look at him. He's eating in excess now. He likened our carcass like a sitar. If the string is too tight, where you're too tight with yourself, like you're not eating and it's just too strict, you're going to snap that string. You're going to snap your carcass. Like I say, your carcass is your instrument. And if it's too loose, it won't play properly. That's why I can see that. I use a blood pressure monitor, and I can see if I eat the wrong foods, my blood pressure goes up. And if I eat perfect food, my blood pressure is down at 100/65 or so. But anyways, gets himself enlightened. And after he got himself enlightened, he says there was going to be a true spiritual child to materialize in the world. That's Yeshua. Because Yeshua says to see him is to see the Father. So when he Siddhartha got enlightened, he's seen the Father, he's seen the true spiritual child to be materialized in the world. And he also said that just before you get enlightened, Mara, which can be likened to the devil, will send beautiful women to the men or beautiful men to the women to try to sexually seduce them, to turn their hearts back to the material and away from the spiritual. Just brought all kinds of pleasures and stuff. Here's some fancy foods and stuff. And when that doesn't work, he's going to send his legions of demons with bows and arrows, and when they shoot the arrows at you, turn them into flowers. Those arrows are actually chevron shape. Those are the hexings. I was always wondering, what does that mean? Bows and arrow, and turn the arrows into flowers. So when somebody tries to come and hex you out, you just don't look at it as a hexing. You got to know that this world's a world of division. I'm not here to teach all that right now. But say somebody gives you an insult, view it as a compliment. And when somebody gives you a compliment, view it as an insult. And that's how you're going to be undivided. Like, you got to know that when they say something like that, it goes into your mind, and it's a division in your mind. Just like the word take care in sign language is taking 2 of these on each hand and making an X at your wrist. So what you're doing, that X is actually 2 chevrons plus 2 other chevrons. That's 4 chevrons, just like the swastika, which the swastika is just an extension of the SS bolts. The SS bolt is actually the flashing eyes of the lion-headed dragon with eyes that flash lightning bolts, or the lion-headed snake. And you can see it in scriptures and Revelations, and it's not just in those, it's actually in the Nag Hammadi text. So that's what he says. 450 years later, Yeshua is being born in Israel. There's a star above the area where he's being born. 3 wise men come over. Those wise men are Buddhist masters. They came in from India. They Following that star, they're bringing in gifts, but mainly gold. They told Joseph and Mary they're going to try to kill him until he's 2, bring him to Egypt. They had the message. They were waiting 450 years. We were Buddhist monks turned masters back in those days for the first 450 years, but we all met up together. The Holy Spirit has us all meeting up together as new adults to be Yeshua's apostles, his students. But anyways, so now he's born. They got that, they leave, they go to Egypt for 2 years, they come back. Just like I said in a prior video, this life here, they tried to kill me for 2 years. Until I was 2 years old, I had fevers of 104, 105, and then that left, and I've had struggles after that. But anyways, when he's 12 years old, those Buddhist masters come back. They bring him to India to teach him Buddhism and stuff. And people would say, well, why would he have to be taught Buddhism? Wouldn't he just know everything? It wouldn't be fair to anybody. Like I said, I had to endure hardships too. Say he's trying to teach the truth. Don't be divided. There wasn't compliments and insults and all that back in those days. It wasn't quite the way it is now. The language is the whole language is a swear. It's foul. But anyways, people would say, well, you're trying to teach us the truth, but you don't know what it is to be cold. You don't know what it is to have sore feet. You don't know what it is to be hungry, to have those hunger pangs, to have an illness, to lose a child, to lose a mother. You don't know those hardships. And Yeshua's like, yeah, I do. I had to endure all that. Same thing with me. I got betrayed by a lot of people. I got kicked in the head by close people, family members. I was sent to prison. Like, there's a lot of hardships I had to go through. And people can't say, well, Pierre, you don't know what it's like. Yeah, I do. I've been in those shoes. Anyways, he gets taught Buddhism, comes back in his late 20s, starts up his ministry, teaching the truth. I'm not going to get too much into that right now. But at the end, they put him on a cross, crucify him. Now, the centurion's in on it. Pontius Pilate knows all about it. He's about to die. He's not about to die. He's up there for 3 hours or so. They put a sponge to vinegar, and those Buddhist masters are there. They know exactly how much. They were putting opium at the tip of that sponge. They know exactly how much to put because they're masters. And they know how much Yeshua weighs. And I'll tell you, Yeshua weighed probably 130, 140 pounds. He wasn't big. And he used to walk really slow, I'm telling you, like, or should take us half a day to get somewhere. It would take us 3 days, and it's like he was in no rush for nothing for anybody. But anyways, they do that, put the sponge, he takes a sip, obviously consuming the opium. And what does he say? My father, why have you forsaken me? But really he was saying, my power, why have you forsaken me? And then he falls unconscious, and it looks like he died. He's breathing 1 breath or 2 breaths a minute, and it's the same thing for his heart. Everybody knows that that's what opium does. They go to Pontius Pilate. We have his body. I'll be amazed if he's even dead. They take him down. They bring him into the tomb. What they do? 100 pounds of aloe and myrrh. Those are healing herbs. They keep him in there for 3 days, healing him. So imagine you get stabbed or whatever in the hand, and you just go in a cave and you get healed there. It's not going to be perfectly healed like if you go to a hospital. But anyways, he comes out after 3 days, dragged out after 3 days. And even Thomas, doubting Thomas, wanted to see the wounds. So they see the wounds. He's a man. Like, we can touch him. And then he got us each to sit down on our own time. Told us what to write in our books. That's the Nag Hammadi texts. And then after that, he says, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go prepare a place for you. He was going back to India, fine-tuning Buddhism, because they weren't writing it down. And he obviously knows the truth. He looks like a master of masters. So now he's telling him how Buddha, because it wasn't written down, but how Buddha became enlightened and stuff. And that's why we got all those writings today. He went and fine-tuned all that, lived until he was 80. He was called Isa over there. They got it documented. He was buried over there. They actually got a tomb over there where he's buried and stuff. You guys can go Google all of this. Now, we were being born the first 300 years as Christians, teaching people. And then when the Romans adopted Christianity, but all they did is rename cult of Mithraism. That's why Mitra's birthday is December 25th. That's why they have Jesus's birthday. Jesus is just another name for Mitra, which is just another name for Lucifer, the light of the world or whatever. Anyways, I've already said some of that stuff in other books, in other videos. But yeah, we're here. We're at the end now. We're in the fourth kingdom, like I said, in King Nebuchadnezzar's dream. We're dealing with iron and clay, people at the top, people at the bottom. If you look at Hinduism, they got 4 yugas. We're in the last yuga, the Kali Yuga, which is the shortest and the worst of them all. And you say, well, how come it's only 12,000 years? It's just like a dream. When you fall asleep at night, you dream up of a world. You got gravity, you got trees, people, birds, whatever, buildings. Is there a big bang? If you want to imagine there was a big bang going all the way back, you can imagine that. But this place has not been around for 13.8 billion years. You can look at quantum physicists like John Wheeler, Robert Lanza. They say if you do want to look back to a big bang, you can, but there is not. John Wheeler also says that there's nothing out there. It's all in your mind, just like Buddhism says the same thing. Everything is empty, like Buddha taught us, and it's a product of your mind. Quantum physics says everything is empty. If you look inside of an atom, it's 99 point followed by 12 nines, empty space, and it's a product of your consciousness. And John Wheeler even said this, when you look at a galaxy in a telescope, it's only there after the light hits your eye, gets converted into electrical impulses and goes in the back of your head like your consciousness. But nothing exists out there. And they don't say this, but I know this, that once you write it down, the coordinates, it's like a ritual, like a witchcraft ritual. So anybody else that goes and sees those coordinates and you say there's an elliptical or a spiral galaxy out there and it's flowing counterclockwise, when somebody, and like I said in another video, we got this shared consciousness. So when somebody else goes and sees it and those coordinates, they'll see that galaxy because you've created it from your mind through this dream. Just like the fraternities and sororities, when they get into their fraternities and sororities, they give each other paddles because of that nursery rhyme, row your boat, life is but a dream. So there's nothing existing out there. It's a product of your mind. And just like right now, everybody's learning, and it says it in Revelation that in the end times, it's going to be a lot of witchcraft and sorcery. That's why they've sent us all to school. It's to condition us and prepare us to be more receptive to this witchcraft and sorcery. That's why when you spell a word, it's a spell. You're under a spell. Back in those days, 2,000 years ago, there was scribes, and there was very limited people that knew how to write and how to read and stuff. But yeah, there's no 13.8 billion years. We've been at this for 12,000 years maximum or thereabouts. We're coming up to the end, just like Yeshua says in the book of Matthew, or the Gospel of Matthew, that in the end time, there'll be wars and rumors of wars. And we could see that happening right now. They've got tariff wars, they've got land wars, and all kinds of different wars, location wars. But anyways, and he says, at the end, the sun will lose a third of its light, and the sun won't shine, the moon won't shine no more. That's a nuclear ash fallout at the end. UN says there's 12,500 nuclear warheads. There's probably 50, 60,000, probably even more. And it's just not the same as the atom bomb. We've got hydrogen bombs and stuff that, I don't know, the nuclear mushroom, whatever, the ash mushroom goes up, 100,000 miles or something? Like it's nuts the way they're going to do it. He also said, these works that I do, you will do, but you'll do even greater ones. Those greater ones is we're going to start exterminating those demons, and that's when they're going to shoot out all their nuclear warheads. We want it to end like that. We're at the end, and they've never experienced it. I talk to these people, these entities, these lower world rulers through people. Kind of reminds me of like the Matrix, where it goes from one person to another person. I see them right away, the devil inside people. And when I tell them, not fraternities and stuff, but people on the street, when I tell them that these lower world rulers never experience karma until the end time, and that's when they're going to experience their karma, they look sad. Like, I'm serious. Like, they look very sad. They like confused. Like, what? Yeah, you guys never felt karma or experienced it until the end time, and we're coming up to the end time. After you guys are put into your place, that's when you're going to do it. They say there's 8 billion people on the planet. There wasn't 8 billion people at the beginning. There was what, 10,000, 100,000, a million? That's why they say there's only one life to live. These are all like false spirits where they don't have no backbone. They have no prior lives, no strength to grow from. This is the one life and that's it. And Yeshua says if it wasn't shortened, time wasn't shortened, nobody would make it. But time will be shortened for the chosen and elect. So if you guys make it, because Yeshua is here on this earth, about to materialize himself or herself, we're all here with him or her for that great day of retribution. We've been waiting 2,000 years. And if you guys make it, well, we'll see each other then. And if not, well, you guys sold out. We were all born in slavery. I'll just say one more thing. We were all born in slavery. That light was stolen from the pleroma. And Yeshua, when he came and got crucified, he paid the price, paid the ransom, and we all got freed. That's why in some of the scriptures it says, I saw Satan fall like lightning. That's the devil. Go down there and you get those spirits back. That's why he's been trying to get people to sell their spirits back. And Paul is not an apostle. He's a false apostle because he got blinded by Satan. Yeshua never blinded people. He gave sight to people. It's the devil, Satan, that blinds people. So yeah, don't follow Paul's teachings. Anyways, if you make it, we'll see you there.